to the Daily 20. Yeah. Welcome to the Daily 20. I think it's 12:30 a.m. and we're going to try to get this. For some people it's a night ride, but for some people it's early morning. We'll try to get it done safe as possible. Couldn't sleep. I could have just laid there, you know. Sugar's 189 right now, and I figured I would just come and ride now, and I might not ride tomorrow, or maybe I'll do a double tomorrow, even though today is tomorrow. All safe, all clear, nothing coming. And I didn't check the wind or the rain or anything. Just, you know. Believe it or not, last night I thought about riding at midnight, but I decided not to. All safe, all clear, we going. Due regard. I got my lights on the bike. I have my headlamp, my cat eye headlamp. I also have two headlamps on my hat, so I have double light up top. My light is flashing in the back of the bike, just so if the car is, you know, so I am following safety precautions. All safe, all clear, we roll. Due regard. I am wearing tennis also because it's nighttime. I did notice they have a lot of glass on the levee, so I'm going to try my best to avoid all that I can see, you know. If not, it's just going to be a fall walk home, you know. All safe, all clear. The wind doesn't feel terribly violent this morning, so happy with that. All right, brother. I think that I really need to safe, clear, nothing coming, due regard. I really think we need, I might need to make some changes with my social media, and you know, I've been thinking about that a lot, a whole lot. And I will say this, it takes a lot of time to engage with the viewer, but if you make content and you don't engage with the viewer, it's like you're approaching the social media one-sided. You know, it's like you need the viewer, but the viewer needs you, and not just the content you make. They need to have access to you, you know? And so when you make social media, you may not realize that way, but that's kind of how it goes, you know? And I don't want to cheat any viewer. Safe, clear, nothing coming. I don't want to cheat any viewer out of interacting, you know. But I do I do struggle with safe, clear, nothing coming, due regard. I do struggle with supporting everybody who's supporting me. You know, like when you have a channel and you're trying your best to, you know, make content and also reciprocate the goodness that people are bestowing upon you. You know, like I don't have a team where I just record something and folks answer comments for me or they make comments for me on other posts. I don't have that type of setup, you know. So from that standpoint, the creator really does comment back, you know. And yeah. Safe, clear, nothing coming. Due regard. But you don't realize that, like, when you start doing content. In fact, when I was, I had like, I had like 1,200 supporters on IG, on TikTok, and I went from like 700 and I gained 12 more. Safe, clear, nothing coming. Due regard. I had got like 1,200 subscribers, you know, and without me knowing it was like I was amazed that most of these people were supporting me, you know, liking my content, etc. But what kind of messed me up was, you know, I was trying to reciprocate and network, and a lot of the folks that I was networking with, they weren't networking back, you know. And so I still have like a gap between those that I follow that don't follow me back, you know. And I'm not really trying to say quid pro quo. That's not my point for this conversation, you know. Safe, clear, nothing coming. Due regard. I'm not talking about quid pro quo, because I've never asked anybody to subscribe, to follow, etc. To, you know, all I ask is that you leave a comment, you know, because comments generate other comments. And Americans are very encouraged from youth up to share their opinion. And so that's kind of how that happened. So it's like, just comment, you know, if you wanna, just comment, you know. But I do know that it has made a lot of interesting dialogue, and some stuff I do and say is just for TV, you know. It's just, that's all it is. It's not necessarily how I personally feel, you know. And in the beginning of the channel, I really try to not be opinionated about anything, because I think that ruins channels sometimes. Safe, clear, due regard. I think that ruins channels sometimes when the person just starts telling you their opinion about everything. It's like, dude, you know, I really enjoyed you showing me how to sharpen the axe. I don't understand what your opinion had to do with you showing me how to sharpen the axe, you know? Man, look at that possum. He was rolling. He was in the bait trap too. Safe, clear. The possum was rolling. They got a little pest control bait trap over there, and he was in it. hope you're okay. Believe it or not, with a blood sugar of 189, I'm a little concerned to really crank and ride, you know. Although I do have some honey packets and orange, and I might just eat the orange out of abundance of paranoia and caution. You know, I may just eat the orange. Sous chef was sick today, but she cooked some supper and she thought about me, you know. That ship is rolling too. He is really rolling. So we're gonna try to have a good ride. It is a midnight ride, but it's okay. That's what we do. Oh, snaps. We'll see. You know, what's interesting is they have so much more police presence up here now. I don't know what's going on. You know, but I'm glad he's not in my way. I know that. Is that frogs or cicadas? What was interesting the other night when I went to record the fireworks for the viewer who asked, there's some guys that got a flat, but I realized they have a lot more broken glass up here on the levee, and those guys don't ride the levee every day, so they didn't know where the glass was at, etc. You know. So when you're riding at night, it ain't necessarily a speed thing. pardon me, I had to eat that orange. But, fire truck? What? They got everybody out here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got one truck, one engine, one truck, one engine. All right, this is 2 trucks. 2 trucks, one engine. That's the oldest volunteer department in the country, David Crockett. So we have 2 trucks and 2 engines, and it looks like one off duty. It's a little bit more excitement than I was personally wanting. You know? We got the twins over there. It's got a section of lights out. I don't know why they have sections of light out. Look at all the water down there. It's a lot of water. I don't know why sections of the lights are out from time to time. Now we gotta avoid glass. Hey, that's my man with the Camaro. I hope you're not blocking the whole level, man. I gotta remember what. Oh yeah, he's blocking the whole level. Man, this dude. I'll be back in less than 2 hours, here, bro. Thank you, man. What's up, ladies? How's it going? All right, all right. So we got that west wind still, okay. I think they have more glass down this way. Right, what's up, fellas? Save a little battery on my top light and on my rear light. somebody was stealing copper from up here, and they had to figure out how to rig up these new lights where they couldn't steal copper. But they installed them, everything was working fine, then they weren't working. Come to find out, somebody was stealing the copper. So they had to come up with a solution to fix that. I had the weirdest thing happen today. But my phone battery, for some reason I had it in the case, and it just drained the phone pretty bad. These lights are supposed to be motion sensitive, and they get brighter than this when you pass under it. So I wonder what's going on. I'm gonna save that light for the way back, the return trip home. First lady got a bad migraine right now, and I tried to help her out, you know, do some pressure point stuff and aromatherapy. But then I left. it's kind of weird because, you know, sometimes you don't, unless your phone is mounted to your handlebar, you don't know the condition of the battery. You don't know if you got the flashlight on, you know. And I had it like in a Ziploc inside my pouch, but that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. And that's how I have rode the last, you know, few trips. Same way. Sometimes I wonder if it's frogs or cicadas or what, you know. I don't know all of the night sounds that are out here. No clue. Even though that did sound like frogs. Oh man, y'all should have saw the moon. Man. I know that can't be the last spot. Man, it is a beautiful moon. Look at the moon. Wow. That is amazing. So if I break up my ride to the ferry where we're headed, I consider this like, you know, a quarter of the way there. I consider this like a quarter of the way there. Now this little stage of the levee has no This stage of the levee has no lighting except the lighting that will be at the docks along the way. Possum or a cat? Yep, little cats. That's the second little cat I done seen out there. I wonder what they're hunting. I'm gonna try to conserve on battery as much as I can on my headlamp. That vessel is making good speed. What about what? The bow of his ship is in front of my bike, so he's beating me. But I'm not really racing him either. Although I don't want him to walk the dog on me. I'm not really trying to race. That was a cottonmouth outside the level. Human out here walking on the ramp. But that must be the crew boat coming and get him. Yeah, it must be the crew boat coming and get him. Oh, we finally in front of that ship. Okay. Look at the moon, man. We must have had a tailwind too. It's just been a smooth. I don't even know if you can see the moon in this video. That's gonna be a bummer if you can't. It is just so gorgeous. So let's focus back on the roadway. Might put the light back on. Probably should drink a little bit of milk. Now that I'm thinking about it. I drank 12 ounces before I left the house. like how that sound like either a rock or the glass. I'm trying to remember if they had any down here. I just hope I don't feel it. So now on the way back, I'm gonna ride the bike in the same lane because I rode in it already previously, so I know where the glass typically is. And that's my whole theory for, you know, traversing, especially at night. Ooh. This grass is sopping wet. As it should. Alright, so that was pretty painless. I think my rim, it's either my rim or my bike. My tire isn't where it needs to be. And that has been a real nuisance for pedaling because I have a non-normal wobble or vibration or quirk, you know? So I don't really like that sensation because it makes me think my tire is going to come loose, and that would be catastrophic. But I've adjusted it so many times, it just keeps walking back over. So what I'm thinking is maybe I just don't have it tight enough on the adjustment. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. But like Biker said, I should be able to strip a bike and rebuild it after all this time riding. And I can't. I could fix a cable for the brakes, or the shifting cable. You know, I could change the chain, change flats. I'm enjoying the night sounds. Of the trail, you know? And I mean, the wind is perfect, the weather is perfect, considering the thunderstorm we had for a few hours today. So is that frogs or cicadas? Somebody let me know. Red oak ain't out here, the white. I wouldn't be able to keep up with them. Because it's not a terrible headwind. You know, since my dad died, I've been really feeling kind of just vulnerable, you know? And so I have these overwhelming feelings of being vulnerability. And That's something I never really experienced to this degree. You know, losing Pops has definitely amplified that. And it's a new experience for me. Like right now, if my dad was alive, I'd be talking to him right now, you know. I'd be getting comfort from him, you know. I almost went by Mom's house and just, you know, because when I feel like this, I need to feel, even though I don't tell them how I feel, you know, I need to feel their presence. And now in this case, since my father is no longer here, I can only feel Mom's presence. You know? But I've prayed for peace. And that's a prayer I prayed for, you know, over $1,500, you know. Pray for peace. And I feel it. But then there's times I need to pray it again, you know. I've had so many ideas and concepts in my head, you know, and now that Pops is gone, you know, it's like I have to adopt those same ideas and concepts to who's left, who's here, you know. And that has been a process, you know. I think a lot. I do. I think a lot. And that's a good thing. Using your brain to figure stuff out, to measure stuff, to quality control stuff, to check stuff, to learn from stuff, you know. I remember looking at this show about World War II, but it was actually talking about Albert Einstein, and he got a job at a patent office. So if you build something, design something, engineer something, you send them the blueprint and they give you the patent for the idea. And while he was at the patent office, he had a window in the office and the scenery was just a brick wall, if I remember the story right. And so what he would do while he was at the patent office was he would think about the item, because he had the blueprint, he had the design. He would think about it, and with his mind he would envision it working, not working, and he would problem solve all of these patents, you know. And that moment in time with that job actually helped him to see things through, work through problems, figure them out, and overcome them. What an amazing ability if you can use your brain, you know, in that capacity, or greater for that matter. One of the most amazing things we could do is read and write. And now I'm gonna add one thing to the list: develop the art of conversation. That is so sought after today by all of the dinosaurs that are on Earth. You know, we love conversation. As cool and as fun as life is, and activities and hobbies, we love conversation. Like real conversation, you know? Not just a superficial pop conversation. Real conversation. And that's amazing. So I have about 5 or 6 daily 20s I need to upload, or that are uploaded. I just have them set to private until I'm able to release them. But I have quite a few, you know, quite a few. And what I thought about doing was just dropping them all, and then that way I could start the next day with that day's daily 20. But I kind of been thinking, man, I need to just concede all of my social media, man, and just focus on real life. And it's not because I don't enjoy doing it. It's not. I just have a lot of external stuff going on that I need to figure out. But I'm not giving up forever either. You know? But I'm not giving up because I can't do it. I'm just trying to balance some stuff in my life better than I am. Or maybe it's just me putting pressure on myself to live up to a certain standard of community, camaraderie, support. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, you know? All of that. But it's like, I'm also trying to develop better roots with my faith also, you know, stronger roots. So it's like, if I continue to do social media, I have to make sure that this isn't impacting the most important thing, and that's my faith, you know. It's my faith. Then my family. Then me. You know, then all of my friends. So it's like, I'm trying to weigh everything and figure it out. Because, you know, to be typically transparent, my goal with social media was to do a homestead. And when I started the homestead, I would just do a day in the life of a homesteader that don't know what they're doing, that are only using manual tools, and, you know, come along for the adventure, you know. So you could pause the video, or you could play the video, you know. But just come along for the adventure, you know. Because life is short. Life is short. As I've learned even more these last, you know, $1,500. So that was my plan for the channel. And I'm only 1/3 of Pause and Play Nova, you know. They got the First Lady, they got Sous Chef, you know, got the Pause Pack, like, that was some glass right there. But I'm only 1/3 of it, you know. But at the same time, what I didn't account for was some of the things you have to do once you start making content, you know. Like my first 10 days on YouTube, I had over 100 videos, you know. Like, the family and I was just recording it and uploading, you know, and trying to figure it out. So, you know, but it was like, I can't make money. I can't make money because of my disability at the moment. I gotta wait 5 years in order to, because if I make $1, they take $1, you know? So it's like, I wasn't tripping about the channel not being monetized, because whatever I earn or the family earns, I'm gonna have to claim that against my disability, you know? And so the other dilemma was, like, I can't really do physical work. I can't do physical work. And I'm a cripple, you know, I'm disabled. So the only reason I'm able to ride this bike is because my ankle doesn't move as if I would be walking or running or playing basketball or stuff like that. And there's a lot of times where if I try to pivot, I'm falling because I can't pivot, because this sharp pain just shoots through my ankle area all the way up my leg, you know? And like I'm thankful I could walk, you know? And if I had 19 pit bulls after me, I might run a few feet, then just go into Spartan mode, you know? But anyway, so I'm very, very, very hurt still, you know? And then with the AC separation I got while firefighting, like, I really need to get that fixed, because that has impacted me on the upper quadrant of my body. Like, I can't lift weights, I can't curl nothing, I can't bench press, I can't squat, because that AC separation is right there. And I'm gonna tell you something, I love wearing overalls, but the last few times I've wore overalls, I have struggled to wear them because of the straps across my shoulders, you know, my AC separation, and that metal that's in my right clavicle. It is like super sensitive, and it aches, you know. So it's like, that's why I haven't been wearing a lot of overalls on the channel like I was in the beginning, you know, because it's like I'm hurt now in my upper quadrant, left and right side. So it's like, to try to firefight, I couldn't even put an EPAC on. That's how much it hurts when I have any weight on my shoulders, you know. So it's like, man, this is what old age does, you know. But the interesting thing is, I'm gonna have to go to the bike shop tomorrow. I'm gonna have to go to Boca and let them, well, ask them to look at my rim and tell me, you know, what's up. Hopefully they're not busy to the point where they couldn't even look at it, you know, briefly. But like, so the plan was for the family to start the YouTube channel, you know, and then hopefully within a time frame that I would need it, we'd be able to supplement some income doing that. Because like, I'm almost 50, and at this stage in life, being a disabled older man, it's like, I don't think any job is gonna just hire me and pay me, you know, $250,000 a year under the terms that I would need. Let me say that. under the terms that I would need. So it's been, you know, it's been anxiety in the sense of I'm not overly worrying, but I couldn't go and get a job that hurts my family and my time with my family. You know, like when I was healthy, I worked around the clock, you know. I was, and I still have the mentality of a workaholic. I enjoy working, you know. Like I enjoy working. I enjoy the process of applying myself to a trade or a discipline or a project and just giving it all of the energy that I have. And then tomorrow going back and doing the same thing. Like I enjoy that. I enjoy that very much. And to not be able to do that when I fell in love with what I was doing. Like I really thought that I was going to be a firefighter until I hit 25, 30 years, you know, on a job. I was going to work till I at least hit 60, if my health permitted, you know. That was my plan, you know. I was going to get sous chef taken care of, you know, pay off some debt, get my mama a Cadillac, get my dad a pickup truck, because I was part of the processes of totaling 2 Toyota Tundras my dad had, you know. And the first time, and I told y'all this story before, but I used to live in Lafourche Parish, and they have a car lot down there, a Ford dealership on Highway 1. And when you look over the Lafourche Parish Bridge right there, I forget the canal, but when you look over the bridge, let me get the directions. So west, east, north, south. When you look over the bridge north, they had the Ford dealership right there, and they had a bunch of spotlights out there. And what happened, they had video stores. I don't know if y'all remember video stores, but I told the first lady, you know, we used to watch movies, you know. That was just something we did together, you know. I fell asleep, you know, or it's like, man, that movie bonked, you know. I miss those days. But anyway, we'd watch movies. And so we were gonna go to the movie store and get some popcorn and watch a movie, you know. And so me and my pops, me and my dad, we went duck hunting like the weekend, and now we're into the week. And he was like, look, just keep the truck and whatever, you know. And I'm like, Pop, you know. So he had like a, I don't know, it was either a 99, like either, I'm gonna just say it was either 98 to 2001 Toyota Tundra. It was black. It had the alloy, the gray alloy, you know, rims. It was nice, man. Limited edition, peanut butter leather seats. It was nice, man. It was a nice truck. And that's what made me like Toyota, when Pops came home with that Tundra. And I could still hear the exhaust on it, you know. Anyway, so me and First Lady, we hopped in the truck, and we're at the stop sign, and I'm looking north at the bridge, because, you know, you don't want to pull out and something just comes over the hump of the bridge, because they hooked up speeding, and now you just pull out, and now you're going to get T-boned, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking, and then with the shop, the big old spotlights that's at the dealership, I didn't realize they were diluting my eyes. They're doing whatever they were doing to my eyes. Like, my eyes was changing. So when I finally looked to the left, when I was comfortable with going on the right, with the right being cleared, I looked to the left, I didn't see anything. So what I did, I didn't pull off, I looked back to the right. And when I looked back to the right and didn't see nothing, that's when I pulled off. And the front grille of the Toyota Tundra got sliced in half by the flatbed on a F-250. It was an F-250 flatbed that was doing like hot shot, and his steel flatbed sliced the front of my pop's truck in half like a Ginsu knife. Airbags deployed. I got hit, but I was fine. I could take a punch. I've took many punches. I've took the best of a lot of people who snuck me and ran, but I took that hit. First lady got hit. I was worried about her because she was seeing stars and trumpets and everything, you know. So the police came. I got a ticket for failure to yield. And I remember showing, it had to be a state trooper. Because even though I wasn't on Highway 1, I was on the street. It was like, I think it was LaFou Street. But anyway, I was on the street. I wasn't on the highway because I didn't make it past the stop sign. But I think whoever it was, trooper or local, they gave me the ticket for failure to yield. And I told them, I said, look, man, you see the lights? The lights blinded my eyes. I didn't realize I was blinded. And they understood that. They agreed with it. But they issued me the ticket. And so my pop lost his beautiful black stallion Toyota Tundra. And so we'll fast forward 20 years later. He had another Tundra, 4-door. It was that burgundy maroon color with the chrome factory 20-inch wheels, I guess. But anyway, I was minding my business driving this truck, and where did I come from? I think I came from Academy on West Bank Expressway, man. And I was just minding my business in the far left lane. I was at the red light where I showed y'all that cake with the pralines over it, the praline over it. Well, I was right there at the light before that, headed west. And just like, we're traveling, you know. I'm doing like 15, I'm in Pop's truck, you know what I'm saying? And the light turns. Well, the light changes to green. I start going, I'm doing like 15, and then a truck just turns in front of me. Like just out of nowhere, just turns in front of me. Like I'm in a lane like right now, and this truck just comes over, and I'm like, what in the world? That bag didn't deploy on that one, but it was like the truck was totaled, man. And I had to tell my pops I totaled another one of his trucks, you know? And that dude still let me drive his truck, his next one, you know? Now, I'm not saying that for you not to let me drive, but, you know, I did drive a $1 million fire truck, you know? A few of them. So I've drove a lot of CDL vehicles, vans, buses, party buses, all of that stuff, you know? I ain't drive a train yet, but, or 18-wheeler. That's the only thing I want to drive that I haven't. So we'll see how it goes. Now with my pops, or my mom being a widow, it's like, now with mom's being a widow, I was laughing at something else. You know, sometimes when people talk, in the moment, you won't hear nothing they're saying, but later on, you'll be replaying everything they say, and you'll realize how some people have amnesia and forget what they said when they said something 9 months ago, you know? They'll forget what they said, but you never forgot. You never forgot what they said because you pay attention when people talk. You listen when people talk, you know? Some people don't listen when they talk, and as a result, they talk themselves into losing credibility. In my opinion. Just my opinion. Based on my opinion. So anyway, now that mom is a widow, it's like I gotta figure some things out. And what's up?
Hello.
And then figuring them out, I have to account for certain things that I wasn't planning on accounting for, which ain't no problem. It's life, you know. There are many folks that go through this same moment in life, and thankfully the majority of them, I hope, have a support system, you know. But you don't know where life is going to turn for you in most cases, you know. Like, I was listening to Dr. Turtle give some financial advice, and the person said, he told the person if he was them, he would get a second job, and every penny he made on the second job, invest. And I thought that was so revolutionary, that to generate wealth, get a second job and invest that money. And the reason I thought that was so revolutionary was because most people that I know, they're either making it or they're not making it. And the ones that are making it by enough where all needs are met. You know, vacation 2 or 3 a year, they're okay. They're good, you know. Now, the ones that aren't making it, if they have second employment, they're already using those funds in order to survive. So, you know, so to get a second job, it's like the folks that I know that are working second jobs, they need that income. You know, like, for example, when I was firefighting, I was a firefighter for 13 years before the medical retirement, but I had a second job the whole time. And when I first started firefighting, you know, August 4th of 2009, August 4th of 2009, I was making $9.71 an hour. So my bring home check, we got paid twice a month, my bring home check was only like $500, you know? And I had health insurance I was paying for, dental insurance, vision insurance, and eventually I got Aflac insurance. So I was paying to play, you know? But I wasn't bringing home no, you know, serious money at $9.71 an hour. Then on top of that, it was First Lady and sous chef and me, you know? So it was like, it was rough, man. It was rough. So I had to work a second job. So I didn't have free money to invest, you know? And part of the problem was when I started firefighting, I already had overhead. You know, I already had overhead, I already had bills, I already had responsibilities that were permanent, you know? I do remember, look at this coyote, man. He running looking back at me. Don't look back at me, see them eyes? You gonna see them eyes. Yo! Anyway, like, so when I first started firefighting, I was working 108 hours a week. 108 hours a week. $108 a week. And I was happy to do it. You see the moon right there? Now remember when we was down there by the ferry, the moon, where the moon was at, you know? So, and when we leave, we going in the direction of the moon. We're going in the direction of the moon. It's amazing how that works. You're making one big circle on this levee trail. So, you know, I was working a lot, man. 7 days a week, 108 hours out the week. I wasn't sleeping. And I didn't get quality sleep, you know, but First Lady was a big help. I love that woman so much, you know, and that's one of the things about, like, finding a person that you're really compatible with, not just for the moment, but for forever, you know, because it's like she held down everything whilst I was getting it, you know. I also remember early in the marriage, you know, 3-4 years in, when sous chef came, when I was sleeping, the sous chef would cry. Not that she cried a lot. First Lady would get out of bed, and her and sous chef would leave the room, you know, because she let me sleep. But that was back when I didn't need earplugs to sleep, you know. But right now I'm at the point in life where I don't need a lot of sleep. Even though I know that's not the healthiest thing, it's like I can only sleep in rhythms. I can only sleep at certain times. And I have to say, it's not good. It's not good. It's not ideal. But, you know, that's the hand I'm playing with. That's the hand I'm playing with. Like right now, I'm not even tired. And I shouldn't be with all the fresh blood pumping through my heart. You know, oxygenated blood. Of course, this wasn't no serious crank and ride either. But at the same time, like I could have went faster on this ride. But I was trying to be smart. It's dark. I can't see. There's glass in a lot of spots, or debris from all the firecrackers, etc., etc., etc. So let me ride at a moderate speed. Because I also rode a few hours ago, you know. Even though today is a new day, it's Wednesday, I rode Tuesday. Whoa! Somebody in there goes fish again. I saw them from the reflectors on their bicycles. It was 2 bicycles, like cruisers. So they were at the fishing camp. They didn't tell them what they're doing. You know, this time of the morning. It's something nefarious, or they just kicking it, you know. And with the big gators and that water rising and the little snakes, they should be fun. But anyway, so like naturally I'm a workaholic. That's one of the things my dad taught me, was to apply myself in the work. And to work unselfish. But what's amazing about that is it's the easiest thing for me to do. What's up, fellas? All right. It's the easiest thing for me to do is work. work, you know. I kind of want to ride some more instead of going home. But I still need to shower, and I might drink a little coffee when I get there. Relax a little bit before bed, you know, just put my earplugs in so I can kind of relax. I really want to go to the tournament. That's all right. I'm gonna ride a little bit longer. I'm gonna ride a little bit longer. I'm gonna go to the turnaround. No, I'm going home. All clear, safe, nothing coming. Due regard. Yeah, I'm going home. I was gonna go to the turnaround and do some laps in the circle with the bridge in the background, but I'm thinking tomorrow today I need to ride later on today. And if I go staying out all night, or all morning, pardon me, then that's gonna impact my day tomorrow for my ride. And I know my boy's gonna want to ride, so I might reach out to him in the morning to see what time they're gonna go, if they're gonna go. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take care of all my responsibilities, and then I'm gonna shoot off and go to the bike shop and see what's up over there. Something like that. But this ride was good for me tonight. You know, I was at home, man, just in the dumps. I feel kind of chewed up and spit out. And I need my dad, man. I need my mom's. Like, it's a cruel world. But when you get hit, you just gotta roll with it. Protect yourself if you can, but so many people get hit and just pick their lip up and say they're sorry and keep going, you know? Everything ain't gonna make sense. And at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna be real. I ain't no fighter, man. I talk trash for y'all, but I ain't no fighter. I live a life of de-escalation, and I'm sorry, and I mind my business. I will defend people, though. I will. But I ain't no bad guy. I am not a bad guy. I'm not a tough man. I'm a macho man, but I'm not a tough man. I'm not a tough guy. I ain't none of that. Clear, safe, due regard, we're rolling. I really wanted to do 25 miles tonight, but I'm gonna have to be satisfied with 21, 22. I think I'm at 69 miles for the week. So I might start riding 30 a day again. I used to do 30 a day. I think I'm all clear, all safe. We're rolling. Due regard. I think I'm gonna start doing 30 again. I enjoyed doing 30. 40 was nice. Look, believe it or not, 50 was even nicer than 40. 50 a day. But if I hit 60, I'm going for a 100. So if I hit 60, I'm going for 100. So it's better for me not to get past 50 in a day. Because if I hit 60, my day is spent. You know? My day is spent. I could be going faster, but it's just not necessary at this point. These last 3 days, believe it or not, have been the best 3 days ever cycling from a wind standpoint. Like, I've had some of my faster times, you know, like pedaling at almost 16 miles an hour on this 40 plus year old bike, you know, 45-pound bike, all steel. Like, I've been actually having some great rides on that end. So that's been really nice and encouraging. And whenever the e-bike boys come, I always ride stronger because of the mechanical advantage of the e-bikes, you know. Clear, safe, nothing coming. We regard, we rolling, baby. And you might say, well, how do you know that nothing's coming? Well, typically, most cars, the only cars that ride at night without headlights on are when they leave a gas station, or the police. The police ride a lot without headlights at night because they're trying to creep up on certain things that are going on. So typically they won't have headlights on at night in some localities. West Wego, they don't use headlights. Here in Gretna, they don't use headlights. Because I've actually rode up on quite a few of them who are just driving at 20 miles an hour with no lights on. So I hit them with the flashlight like, dude, what are you doing? You know, I could be running that stop sign that you're about to hit me, you know? That's a joke. Don't be all sensitive on the video. Anyway, so it was a good ride. I feel good. I don't feel accomplished. I don't feel like all clear, safe, nothing coming. We rolling, baby. And also, I will say this. I'm on a bike. So I'm gonna be able to stop if something is coming on this bike. Now, if you were at a car or in a car, you might need more braking distance than I need on my bike. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not pedaling at 15 miles an hour right now. I might be pedaling at 9. So I can stop faster than you can in that sense. Now, if the road is wet, that's a different story. I'm gonna be like Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone trying to stop. You know, but at the end of the day, it's all good. I wouldn't worry about it. Meow. I do that whenever I see cats, just to let them know. Pause and sit. Safe, clear, due regard. We're rolling. And another thing about bike safety, when you're in certain neighborhoods, man, don't be, I mean, I tell you not to, but just be careful when you be stopping, looking both ways and looking down the street and all that other stuff. Somebody, one of them body snatchers will come get you. Hey, the world's most dangerous parking lot. How you like that? How you like that? This is actually safe. I hope. But look, I appreciate y'all. It's been a good ride. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate what y'all doing to support Pause and Play Nova and its many facets. And I also want you to know that we make a good team. You know? So this is my cutting off point, and y'all have a good one, man. Peace.